Thoth's forgotten mirror code. You've been creating reality without knowing it. You've been creating your reality. Every thought, every feeling, every choice. But no one told you, because the code that governs all creation was hidden right in front of your eyes. It was Thoth who recorded it, not as a metaphor, but as a vibrational mechanism, a mirror so ancient, so exact, that even the stars obey it. And you've been using it every single day without knowing it. They called it as above, so below. But this is not poetry. It's an instruction, a divine equation between the invisible and the visible. And now something strange is happening. This forgotten mirror code is being remembered by those who are ready. If you're watching this, you were meant to remember too. Because today, you'll see how this code has been shaping your life in silence. And once you activate it consciously, the universe won't have a choice. It will start to reflect exactly who you've decided to become. Chapter 1. Reality is a mirror, but not the one you thought. You were never just living in the world, you were living in its reflection, not of light, but of vibration. Everything you see around you, every encounter, delay, opportunity, or chaos, is not random. It is resonance, a response from the field to the frequencies you emit. But here's the secret they never told you. It doesn't matter what you want. What matters is what you vibrate. Because reality doesn't speak your language. It speaks your energy. It mirrors not your dreams, but your coherence, the alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. This is the mirror Thoth described, not made of glass, but of cosmic law. A law that was hidden not because it was complex, but because it made you too powerful once understood. And now that you've heard it, you can't go back. Because every moment from this point forward, you'll feel the mirror moving, reflecting not what the world wants, but what you have decided to sustain in your vibrational field. As above, so below. As within, so without. As you vibrate, so the universe responds. This isn't mysticism. It's vibrational correspondence, the architecture behind every miracle, every collapse, every divine timing you've ever experienced. And the mirror is already active. The only question now is, which version of you is it reflecting? Chapter 2. The invisible creates the visible, but only when you're aligned. Before anything appears in your life, it first appears in your field. Not the physical one, the vibrational one. That silent space between thought and manifestation. Between what you desire and what the world shows back to you. This is where creation begins. And Thoth understood that better than anyone. He didn't try to control reality by force. He attuned himself to the unseen and let the visible become its echo. Because what you're living today was once invisible. It began as a thought, gained shape as a feeling, and became real through action. Thought, emotion, action. These are not separate events. They are three strands of one frequency. And when they move in the same direction, something extraordinary happens. The invisible becomes visible. But most people live in fragments. They think abundance, but feel fear, and act with hesitation. They imagine love, but vibrate unworthiness, and behave like someone still waiting for permission to be seen. And the universe? It doesn't respond to their dreams. It responds to their incoherence. Because the mirror of reality doesn't reflect your desires. It reflects your signal. Your signal is the frequency that emerges when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in alignment. That's the code Thoth practiced daily, not as religion, but as a form of spiritual engineering. He didn't speak of faith, he embodied precision. Every ritual, every breath, every sacred word was a way to tune the invisible field before life could respond. And that's the part modern spirituality often forgets. It's not enough to think it. It's not enough to feel it. You have to live it with your whole being vibrating in one direction. Because reality doesn't reflect what you say. It reflects what you sustain. So ask yourself now, where in your life are you thinking one thing, feeling another, and doing something else entirely? That's not confusion. That's your mirror, waiting for you to finally become one. Chapter 3. Nature holds the code, the sacred geometry of the divine mirror. If you want to see the code Thoth lived by, you don't need a temple. You don't need a scroll. You need only to look at a leaf, a shell, a galaxy. Because the mirror wasn't hidden in words, it was written into nature itself. Before language, before science, before even philosophy, Hermes Trismegistus and Thoth both understood. The universe is not random. It is designed. And the design is sacred geometry. Every tree, every bone, every constellation follows a divine ratio, the golden ratio, or phi, a number that governs the spiral of galaxies, the curve of waves, the swirl of hurricanes, and even the shape of your DNA. This is not coincidence. It's cosmic order. It's vibrational intelligence made visible. Thoth wasn't just the scribe of the gods. He was the engineer of resonance, the guardian of the sacred mathematics behind creation. And Hermes Trismegistus, the fusion of Thoth and Greek wisdom, didn't invent the phrase, "as above, so below." He decoded what nature had already been whispering. The micro reflects the macro. The visible echoes the invisible. The pattern above is mirrored below. This is why rivers branch like lightning bolts, why veins mirror roots, why the structure of your lungs matches the branches of a tree, because it's all fractal, a sacred echo repeated at every scale. What you are is not separate from the cosmos. You are woven from the same geometry, the same vibrational blueprint. And when your mind feels disharmony, when your life spirals into chaos, it's not punishment. It's a misalignment from that sacred pattern, a deviation from the frequency of coherence. But here's the secret. The pattern is still inside you, buried beneath noise, dormant under distractions, waiting to be remembered, not learned. This is why Thoth encoded rituals in harmony with the sun, the stars, and the breath. Why Hermes spoke of unity between spirit and matter. They weren't teaching mysticism. They were revealing spiritual architecture, the divine design that holds everything together. And now that you know where to look, you'll start to see it everywhere. in the petals of a flower, in the spiral of a shell, in the silence between your thoughts. This is not just nature. This is a living mirror, a sacred code, a cosmic invitation to remember that the invisible already knows how to become visible if you realign yourself with the pattern it never stopped following.
Chapter 4. Your thoughts are fractals. Your emotions are frequencies. You already live inside a fractal. Not just the galaxy, not just the trees, you. Your mind, your emotions, your habits. They all follow the same sacred geometry you admired in nature. That spiral you saw in the sky, it's in your thoughts. That symmetry in a shell, it's in your feelings. The repetition of branches in a tree, it's the exact rhythm your mind follows every time you wake up, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, acting in the same ways without even realizing it. You're not repeating your life. You're repeating your vibration. And your vibration repeats your reality. Thoth knew this. Hermes wrote it. As within, so without was not philosophy. It was a warning. Because your inner world is not static. It spins in spirals of energy, thought, and memory. And those spirals form a pattern, a fractal of the self projected outward, reflected back as circumstance, relationship, coincidence. This is why your life seems to loop, not because you're stuck, but because the pattern is still vibrating. And here's what no one told you. If you don't interrupt the inner geometry, you will relive it again and again until you remember that thought is not just thought, it's architecture. Emotion is not just feeling, it's frequency. And the field listens, not to your voice, but to your fractal signal. A single thought repeated often enough becomes a shape in your mind. A single emotion replayed often enough becomes a color in your field. And when those two combine, they form a frequency signature, your vibrational identity, the code the universe responds to. So ask yourself now, what shape have my thoughts been tracing? What spiral has my heart been spinning in? Because your reality is already answering, not with judgment, but with reflection. And once you see that your mind is a sacred geometry machine, you can begin to reprogram it. Thoth didn't pray for change. He encoded change by adjusting the internal ratios, by interrupting the spiral, by planting a new vibration where the old one kept looping. That is your task now, not to escape the mirror, but to reshape the image at the level of thought, at the depth of feeling, in the clarity of aligned action. Because once the inner fractal changes, reality has no choice but to redraw itself around your new design.
Chapter 5. The first frequency shapes the field. Before the world touches you, you touch the world, not with words, with frequency. In the very first seconds after waking, before memory, before name, before yesterday finds you again, you are not a personality. You are a pure field, and the universe is already listening. It doesn't wait for your mood. It doesn't wait for your coffee. It waits for one thing only: your first vibration. That is why Thoth and the ancients honored the golden hour, not for tradition, but for vibrational precision. They knew the first breath is a spell. The first thought is a seed. The first word is a code. Not metaphor, spiritual technology. Because the first vibration sets the tone for the entire symphony of your day. And if you don't choose it, the world will choose it for you. Most people wake up into chaos. They scroll, they react, they tune their energy to the noise of a world that has forgotten its own soul. And then they wonder why the day reflects anxiety, confusion, resistance. It's not punishment. It's the mirror, responding to the field you activated. But the awakened, the aligned, the ones who remember the mirror code, they begin the day in silence. They breathe, they remember who they are. They set intention before attention. They send a message into the field before letting the field send one to them. And the result is a different kind of day. One where reality responds with clarity, flow, synchronicity. Because the field was tuned. The signal was clean. You don't need hours. You need presence. You need coherence between thought, feeling, and action from the very first moment. That's how the invisible begins shaping the visible. That's how the fractal of your day begins aligned. That's how the universe says, I hear you, I reflect you, I follow your frequency. The miracle doesn't start at noon. It starts at dawn. So tomorrow, don't wake up to the world. Wake up to yourself, to your field, to your choice. Because one conscious moment in the morning can realign the spiral of your entire life.
Chapter 6. Chaos is a mirror, and the mirror is not broken. It's speaking. The moment your peace is disturbed, the mirror activates, not to punish you, but to reveal you. That traffic jam, that argument, that message you didn't expect, that sharp feeling in your chest, that heat behind your eyes, they are not interruptions. They are reflections. Because reality doesn't just mirror your light, it mirrors your triggers, your fragments, your subconscious vibrations that still exist beneath the surface of what you say you want. This is where most people run. They try to fix reality, change the job, leave the person, control the external world. But Hermes Trismegistus warned us, as within, so without. And Thoth practiced it, not in temples, but in moments of disorder. He didn't react to chaos. He read it. He treated imbalance as a sacred feedback loop, a message from the field saying, here's where you're still vibrating out of alignment. Because emotions are frequencies. They don't just pass through you, they broadcast you. And when chaos shows up, it's not working against you, it's working with you to bring to the surface what you've been vibrating in silence. That's why your emotions feel louder in moments of crisis, not because the world got worse, but because the mirror got clearer. And if you can stay with it, if you can breathe in the middle of it, you'll see what Thoth saw, that every emotional storm contains a code, not for escape, for initiation. You are not being tested, you are being tuned. So next time life pulls you off balance, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what part of me is the field reflecting back right now? Because the field always responds, not to your ideal self, but to your real frequency. And when you start using every conflict as a tool for vibrational adjustment, you move from victim to vibrational engineer, from reaction to recalibration, from emotional chaos to spiritual coherence. This is not denial, it's mastery.
It's what Hermes and Thoth passed down, not as religion, but as a path of transformation through the mirror of the world itself. Because the chaos outside is only there to reveal the parts of you that are still asking to come home. Chapter 7. Coherence is the portal, and the field responds to nothing else. This is the part almost no one teaches, because it's not glamorous, it's not poetic, it's the mechanics of manifestation. And without it, all the mirrors, all the rituals, all the wisdom fall flat. Because here's the truth. The universe doesn't respond to your thoughts. It responds to your coherence. Not what you think, not what you feel, not what you do, but whether all three are vibrating together in one unified frequency. This is why people visualize abundance, but still live in fear. They speak love, but carry unworthiness. They act bold, but still doubt their worth in secret. The field doesn't hear their words. It hears their vibrational signature. It sees the fracture, the misalignment, the static. And Thoth knew that. He didn't manifest through hope. He manifested through harmonic instruction. By aligning thought, emotion, and action as one sacred wave moving in the same direction. That's not magic. That's spiritual technology. Because when your mind imagines, your heart feels, and your body moves in perfect coherence, the mirror activates, and reality changes. Hermes Trismegistus called this the great work, not as metaphor, but as a practice, a discipline of vibration, where the invisible becomes visible because there is nothing left out of tune. So what does that mean for you? It means your next manifestation doesn't require more effort. It requires alignment. If you think abundance but feel scarcity and act in hesitation, you collapse the field. If you think love but feel small and act guarded, you scramble the signal. But if you think clarity, feel trust, and act with presence, you become a transmitter of pure, coherent frequency. And the universe, the vibrational mirror that never stops listening, has no choice but to match you. Because this field isn't random, it is responsive. And your reality isn't waiting for the right timing. It's waiting for your vibrational integrity. One unified signal, one inner agreement, one decision to finally walk, speak, breathe, and move as the version of you that no longer doubts. This is how creation becomes inevitable. Not because you pushed harder, but because you stopped splitting your power between the parts of you that still argue. Coherence is not a mood. It is a portal. And when you pass through it, reality opens. Chapter 8. The field only moves when you do. Vibrational action is the real activation. You can think clearly, you can feel deeply, but until you act, your vibration hasn't fully arrived. Because vibration is not static, it's not an idea, it's a wave, and a wave only exists when it moves. This is why Thoth's rituals were never passive, they were energetic activations. Movements aligned with intention, words spoken with frequency, gestures encoded with purpose. He wasn't performing magic, he was conducting a vibrational operation, aligning the body, the breath, the voice, and the mind into one coherent pulse that the field could recognize and reflect. You must understand this now. The universe does not respond to potential. It responds to activation, to embodied frequency, to the moment you stop preparing and start transmitting. This is what Hermes Trismegistus meant by the miracle of one thing. It happens when your being becomes a single signal, when you don't just imagine the life you want, you inhabit it. You speak like it. You move like it. You walk into a room vibrating the energy of someone who already lives the reality they once prayed for. And the mirror doesn't hesitate. Because the mirror doesn't respond to what you wish, it responds to what you've become. So what does vibrational action look like? It's not force. It's not rushing. It's not trying to make things happen. It's subtle, precise, intentional. It's taking one aligned breath before you speak. It's choosing silence over reaction. It's walking differently, looking differently, sitting in your body as if you finally remembered that your presence is a frequency. This is where most people miss it. They want magic, but they forget you are the magic, and the ritual is how you express it. Your actions are not just actions, they're vibrational instructions. Every step, every word, every gaze is telling the universe what version of you is active now. And the universe, it's obedient, it's ancient, it's sacred. But above all, it's precise. So today, let your frequency speak through your posture, your stillness, your words, your choices. And as you do, the mirror shifts. Not because the world changed, but because you finally started vibrating like someone who remembered their role in creation. Chapter 9. The signal returns, and reality has no choice but to obey the frequency you became. There comes a moment when the field responds, not because you begged, not because you wished hard enough, but because your vibration became undeniable. You held the frequency. You aligned thought, emotion, and action. You moved as the version of yourself that no longer negotiates with fear. And when that happens, reality shifts. Not slowly, not symbolically, but precisely. A door opens. A message arrives. A delay disappears. A person shows up at the exact moment you surrendered expectation. This is not luck. It's not coincidence. It's the mirror returning your signature. Because the universe doesn't work like a judge. It works like a resonator. And you have finally tuned your field into something coherent, clear, and creative. This is what Thoth practiced in silence. Not waiting for miracles, but becoming the condition for the miracle to manifest. This is what Hermes Trismegistus meant when he spoke of the invisible shaping the visible. When vibration is clear, matter rearranges. And this is the part no one tells you. The moment reality bends to meet your signal is the moment you stop chasing it. You become still, centered, certain, because now the field is echoing back everything you've been vibrating all along. This is the collapse point, the moment energy becomes experience, when the unseen becomes real, because you held the tone long enough for the world to catch up. And when you see it, the text message, the unexpected call, the opportunity, the clarity, the feeling of, I knew it, you realize something ancient and electric. You were never waiting for reality. Reality was waiting for you. to choose, to align, to activate the code of coherence and let it run through your body like a sacred current. And now that you've seen it respond, you can never pretend again. You know too much. You felt it. You've bent reality with your frequency. You've triggered the vibrational mirror from within. And the universe, the vast field of intelligent energy, heard you. Now it's reflecting you. In real time. In high definition. In exact resonance. So take this moment. Own it. Feel the feedback. Because when vibration becomes experience, you've crossed the threshold. You're not just a seeker. You've become the signal itself.
Chapter 10. You are the code, and the mirror will never forget your frequency. Now that you've felt it, you can't unsee it. You can't return to sleepwalking through life, waiting for signs, begging for miracles, forgetting your power. Because the truth has been activated. You are the signal. You are the vibration. You are the one the mirror has always been responding to. Not your mask, not your fear, not your past. The field heard your alignment. And once that happens, once the quantum field registers a coherent frequency from the center of your being, reality is rewritten. This is not just spiritual theory, this is energetic law. This is what Thoth guarded and Hermes revealed, that reality bends not for those who wait, but for those who remember. So remember this, the mirror is never judging, it is only reflecting what you've become. And now, you've become something different, something real, something that vibrates with intention, moves with clarity, and breathes in alignment with your own soul. This is the sacred frequency the ancients spoke of. This is the activation they encoded in rituals, geometry, breath, and sound. It's not hidden anymore. You're living it. So let this be your daily ritual now. Not perfection, but presence. Not control, but coherence. Because every single moment you return to your aligned frequency, you're sending a message to the universe. I am remembering who I am. I remember what I came to create. And the field, silent, intelligent, timeless, will reflect that back in ways you can't yet imagine. Now, write this in the comments. I am the signal. The field is responding. Write it not as a sentence, but as an activation, as a declaration, as a mirror you're ready to command. Because this is not the end of the video. It's the beginning of your new vibration.